Good morning, this is Grit and Gumption again, and some people were asking me to show them how I make my Toscana Zuppa, which is Toscana soup. So, we're going to do that today. So, I've got some sausage back here in the skillet, and I can this soup, so I don't cook the sausage all the way. I kind of half do it. So it's kind of pink still when I put it into the jar. Now it's about where I want it here. I think I'm going to turn it off. Got that done. And then, hope I don't cut myself on Charlotte's potato peeler here. I'm not used to it. Every time I peel potatoes, I think about my Aunt Gloria. Years ago, I was little, really little. I guess she was peeling potatoes at my grandma's house, and grandma had a fit because she was like doing it with a knife and like getting a 1/4 inch of potatoes with the peel. And grandma said something about, "You sure are wasting a lot of potatoes, girl." And she didn't even think about it. It hadn't even occurred to her, you know, so that's kind of funny how things are like that. I am going to make these 2 jars here. I have so much of this at home that I've made. I think I have 20 quarts of it. I love the soup. But I put up a lot of soup for the winter because we get busy working outside. I don't want to have to come in and cook. It's so nice to just be able to get some of this and just heat it up real fast and you're done. Ooh, got one there. So I usually make a lot of this stuff. And since it's become like my favorite soup, we have it on hand all the time.
But plus you could make it for someone who, if they've been in the hospital and just got out.
Oh yeah, everybody loves it. Just grab a jar and take it with you.
Yeah, a gift.
Oh yeah.
For a gift soup.
Usually it takes about 5 potatoes for 2 jars. So, but anyway, this soup, I can it with no cream and of course no cheese. The soup actually, after you get it out and warm it up, you're supposed to add cream and some Parmesan cheese. I eat it without that because I really don't need all that extra calories. So I just eat it without it, and it's so good without it. I've never even put it in there.
Yeah, the rule is if you can't taste it, don't waste it.
Yeah. So, but that's that. So, I'm going to go ahead and take this here, kind of go like this. Trying to get as much of that fat out as I can. Just kind of squish it down, get rid of it.
It is a little pink, so why don't you want to cook it all the way?
Because this gets pressure canned, and it gets pressure canned for 90 minutes.
Oh.
So, yeah. And you don't want to put it in there raw because it'll stick together in one big glob, and that's not good for pressure canning. So you need to just break it up and have it kind of,
you need to drain some of the grease off that way, this way.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just try to get, when I'm doing this, a whole bunch of them at home, I usually put about a cup and a 1/4 of meat in each jar. That's about what I do. I have a cup measuring, like a little one, and I just scoop it out until I get a full cup, and then about I don't know, 1/4 to 1/3 more, and that's enough. I mean, that's more than enough for Kane and I. We've never felt like we needed more meat in the soup, that's for sure. And this is so easy to make, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's super ridiculous. And I don't know, growing up we didn't eat kale. I mean, we ate spinach, but we never ate kale. And it seems like it just really wasn't something that sounded good to me at all. And I'm always, though, trying to be open-minded about stuff and try new things. And I thought, I'm just gonna try this. You know, hopefully I'll like it, we'll see what happens. Oh my gosh, it's my favorite part of the soup. My absolute favorite part is I was like, I want more kale. So the last bunch I made at home, I actually put more kale in it than I had before. So, get all these little pieces, ain't no sense in missing any of it. Get it all. Meat's expensive enough the way it is, so. All right, so you do that. Kind of make sure they're about even, and they are. Good deal. So next is your onion. And basically, I cut for this soup. This is how I did it, and I cut it a little less than quarter inch. Less than quarter inch, just a little less. Slices. There we go. A quarter of an onion in each jar. I'll shake it up. That one didn't break up a whole bunch, but I like to kind of have it broken up around the edges a little bit there, so it kind of flattened out. This one actually looks like it needs more to me. Since we love onion, what the heck, we'll put some more in there. That also gets it off my cutting board since I don't want to cry. I guess I cut the other one the other way, but whatever. We don't care. We don't care. It's all good. Charlotte can use that last little bit for something, I'm sure. All right, then I've washed all this, by the way, every bit of it, before we ever started.
Now, this would be a great time if you were into saving seeds.
Yep.
To save some seeds.
And people always say, that is not going to grow from the grocery store.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they
Unless
do.
they're a genetically modified fruit or vegetable, they will grow.
Yeah.
I just take those and I just lay them out flat and let them dry, and then I put them all in a Ziploc bag and I label it red peppers or yellow or sweet peppers or whatever they are. But that way you can ensure that you have seeds in case something would ever happen.
Yeah.
And if you only want to keep them for a year and then you decide you don't need them, get rid of them. I mean, you know, depends on how many peppers you eat, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I did an experiment a couple years ago because I'm like, I hate having to buy seed and I hate having to buy bulbs. I'm crying again, of course. But because these onions are always a killer.
Strong, I know.
Yeah, they are. But I thought, I don't want to buy bulbs for garlic. I hate that. They're so expensive. It's just ridiculous the price they want for that. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to the store and get the stuff that's organic and see if I can do it. And I did. And it was no problem. And I had plenty of garlic the next year. I mean, like crazy amount.
Yeah.
Just cut this up and get all your ribs out of it and your seeds. When you're canning, you don't want any of that. That can't be. You can't have that in there. Also, the little nub at the bottom right here, my grandmother told us no, you cannot have that in there. Just like the stem, you can't have that. You can't have the little nubby that's brown on the bottom. And that's just how that is. Actually, I'll just go ahead and cut some of these now. Same thing, a little less than a quarter of an inch. I keep everything I chop in there like that. It's all the same sizes. So it makes it more appealing when you're eating it. Golly. And I love these peppers. So the yellow ones are my favorite. So I always make sure they have plenty of that. It's hard for me to cook at Charlotte's house because I'm used to my own tools. I'm used to my own knives. I'm used to my own boards. And it's like everything's completely different here. It's funny. It takes a little getting used to.
Well, the knife, if you use it backward, it's a chef's knife, so yeah, it's a little tricky to use.
That's good. Okay. Oh no, this stuff is so awesome.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Let's see. How about Sharon Sanquinetti? She is a good friend of mine that I've had for lots of years. Used to work with her at the Veterans Home, and she has given me some awesome recipes through the years. Awesome recipes. And I got a hold of her the other day. I wanted to do Magna Carta for you guys, and I want to make sure I had my recipe right. It's been so long since I've made it. It's been a couple years, and I thought, well, I better get a hold of her and make sure I got it right before I go telling everybody something's incorrect. But it's a really good dip, I guess, or sauce, whatever you would call it. But I love it. She made it for me years ago, and we had it on our break. And we used to work night shift together. And I was like, oh my gosh, I fell in love. Fell in love right then and there. That was into that. I've made it ever since, but I always have to read the recipe. And that's probably the only thing that I really read the recipe on, tell you the truth. It's hard for me to cook using recipes. I will see something I like that somebody's making, and I will read the recipe, and then
Change it.
Just make it my own. Yeah, I totally make it my own. I just do what I want. And when I make things, people say, what's your recipe for this? When I bring something to a gathering or whatever, I'm like, well, I can tell you what I did pretty much, but I don't really have a written down amount, but I can tell you pretty much. I'm like, oh, okay. But that's just how it is. I never have really. A bit more red. Let's see.
Well, since everyone likes different things, you know, you can add or subtract things to any recipe to better suit your taste.
Also, it kind of like our deviled egg experience. That's what I call it. I never make deviled eggs the same twice, ever. And same way with salmon patties. When I make those, I never make them twice. Tuna salad, never make it the same twice. Tuna casserole, never make it the same twice. My girls are like, how do you make that, Mom? Like, I tell you what I did this time. But last time, I think I did something completely different. But that's the way it is. And it's good every time. I mean, it's not like they don't like it. They do love it. It's just different every time. I think these jars are so pretty when they get done because of all the colors in them too. That one went flying. Oh well. All right, so I think that's probably good enough. I mean, but like, again, put in what you want. If you want green peppers in there, put green peppers in there. If you don't want any, then don't do any. Now at this point, looks like Charlotte's got the phone ringing back there. At this point is where you want to cut up all of your kale. And I usually take a whole thing of it and just cut it about an inch across. And then I go the other way as well. Okay. Sorry about the sniffing. I hate that. Okay. And you think there's not enough room in this jar for all this, but there is. There really is. Also, my last bunch at home, I put garlic in it. So, you know, put garlic clove, cut it up and put it one in each one because that's what I like. All this, we washed this before we started, like I said. And I also didn't think I'd like these little stems of the kale either, but I love them. I love them. Kale is so good for you. It's crazy. Crazy good. Stuff is awesome.
It is good. There's a lot of people who have been using it here in the last couple years.
Yeah, it's really good stuff.
In the oven with spices on it.
Oh yeah, we love it in the oven.
With kale chips, is that what they call
it? Yeah. Oh yeah. Stuff is good. And you think you can't get any more in there, you'd be amazed. All right. You want to shove it down in there too. Like really get it in there. All right. Then your potatoes. Guess I could still use that bigger knife. It'd be a lot easier. Oop, that was loud. Sorry. potatoes, whatever size you like to eat them, you know. I make them a little smaller than I normally would and other stuff because I can get more in there. So I just go ahead and pack them in. And it is pressure cooked for 90 minutes, like I said, because the meat. So you have to pressure cook it. We're gonna do a video on canning meat here, probably before the week is out. I have a lot of people asking me about how to can meat, but they have no idea how. But I'm telling you guys, you need to get yourself a ball canning book. It'll teach you so much stuff, and just sit back and read it in the evening and you'll learn a lot. A lot of foods you can water bath, but with meats, they have to be pressure canned for sure. And I pack these pretty good, you guys, so. Boy, sticking to that knife. Oh, let's see here. In the winter, I always make a ton of soup. I make cabbage soup. It's out of this world good. We had that last week. Charlotte thought, I don't know if I like cabbage soup. What'd you think? Be honest.
It was okay. I didn't mind it. It was good.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I put other stuff in besides cabbage. But
I think a lot of people just don't eat soups, but
yeah.
I like soups.
So do I.
Probably
a lot of people
because
like it with bread. I just eat
Yeah.
soup.
You're right.
I'm not a big bread person, but I always feel not so good when I get done eating bread.
Yeah. Gosh, you think those are gonna fit?
Yeah, we're gonna get them to fit. Yeah, because they're all funny shaped. You just got to stick them down in there, and they'll fit. You got to get them in there, and also that stuff down the bottom compresses more. You'd be amazed. Like I said, but well, that's what I'm telling you. When you make this, it's filling. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here. It'll fill you up. It's a meal. I don't ever need a bread or a biscuit or anything. And you fill it to leave an inch headspace up here. And if you don't know what that means, if you're new to canning, that means at the top of this jar, you need to leave an inch of space.
Yep, from about the large band to the top, which is about right
here. That first band right there.
Yep, the big thick band. Yep.
Yep. It's another reason why I cut these kind of small at the end, because you can get more in there. Get an extra cut here, because you can get them in there. And let me tell you what, my husband eats this with me, and he's full when we get done. I mean, there's enough food in there for you. See, there's a big gap right here, so I want to try to get that down in there. There's a gap right here. Looks like one flew the coop on me, didn't it? I shut them down in there. I mean, there's a spot there. Trust me. You can get it in there. I mean, I'm not going to do it with a bunch of pressure and go crazy and break my jars. Don't want to do that. I've had these jars for a while. But see, gap there. So I just kind of make things move until I get that gap kind of filled. See, those go down a lot more. Just push it down. We're gonna make a bang bang shrimp this afternoon. Make a video of that as well, so that will be out tomorrow.
Yes, it's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one.
It's an appetizer that they sell at a restaurant, and it's basically it's a copycat, and it's very good. We'll be making it and eating it. Yum.
Yeah, giving it a shot.
It's pretty easy to make. It's not difficult.
See, I told you I'd get them all in there. Don't need that last one, but we got these all in there. Okay, so then what you need to do is put chicken stock. Pour chicken stock over it. Okay, so fill it up with chicken stock. It didn't take very much. But I have the bubbles. It's got to get debubbled, so it'll probably go down a little bit. I don't know. Get my there. And basically, I just stick this around the outside edge, and bubbles do come up. Of course, you have to fix your, see all those bubbles coming up? You have to fix your potatoes when you get done again, but it does release all those bubbles, and you need to do that before you can. So, but then I just kind of push those back down in there, so they're down around that 1 inch mark. Do the same with this one. It's really packed in there. But bubbles are coming up. You see all those bubbles coming up. Mm-hmm. You need to get that out of there so you have a good seal. If you guys have pressure canners, I filled mine up every time. Please, I make sure I have 8 jars. So,
yeah, you can
7 in the pressure canner and 1 for dinner. Okay, now fill the rest back up to the 1 inch mark. There we go. Get that back up to the top. There we go. Then you put your lids on. Clean your top of your jars with vinegar. Clean it off, or water, whichever. Make sure, because I put the meat in and it's got oils in it. So if you have oils here and you have oils on your lid, it's not going to seal. But these, however, I'm going to just take to my daughter's tonight, throw it all in a big pot and cook it for her. But those you want to put in your pressure canner, can them for 90 minutes, and you'll love them. See, there's an actual spot. I probably could have got some more in there. But anyway, that is your Toscana Zuppa soup. Or Zuppa is soup in Italian. So, you know, Toscana Zuppa. The stuff is awesome. But I would put garlic in it. So, and whatever herbs and spices you want to, put them in there. Make it yours. It's really good stuff. Give it a shot.